Welcome to First Flight, a new podcast by FlightGlobal. I'm your host, Amber Elias, and in this episode, I'll be speaking with Jestin, Executive Vice President Digital at Airbus. Jestin has been at Airbus since 2013, and before aviation, held senior roles at Rio Tinto and Accenture. Airbus is the largest aeronautics and space company in Europe, and is a leader in commercial aircraft, helicopters, advanced technologies, and employs over 130,000 people. Welcome to First Flight.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be there.
Thank you. So how did you get started working in aviation?
Aviation was a little bit of an opportunity that came to my road. As you mentioned, I started my career with Accenture and then with Rio Tinto. And one day I just received a call from a headhunter saying, okay, you know what? Airbus is looking for their next CIO for their helicopters division. Would you be interested to take the role? And at that time, I was a little bit at crossing roads at Rio Tinto, so I took the opportunity. I had the interviews. They finally decided that I was the right person for helicopters to join. So I took the role, and that's the way I entered the aerospace industry. And after 6 years and a half in Airbus helicopters, I was asked to come over to Toulouse. And to take charge of the Airbus commercial aircraft business. So and be in charge of same thing, chief information officer in charge of and then in charge of digital. So I joined XCOM in 2021 and Airbus in Airbus commercial in 2020. So that's a little bit my direction. So that was not a dream that I had when I was a little kid. So was not something that was absolutely on my list. Came really as an opportunity, but as a great opportunity. And I never regret to have made that decision because I have really discovered fantastic industry. I consider myself very privileged to work for Airbus. It was also the case when I was in helicopters. I had the opportunity to see the products every day. So I see them taking off, landing, coming to the airport. So it's a fantastic range of products. We have a satellite also that are very interesting. And fantastic people in the company, really passionate, which was one of my wow thing when I joined Airbus was the level of passion that people are putting in the work they do, whatever they do in Airbus. If they do HR, finance, product, production, flight test, everybody is really, or digital and IT, everybody is really passionate by the company and by the product. So was really a wow effect for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that in aviation and aerospace. Everybody who works in the industry, no matter if you've always wanted to work in aviation or if you've come to it a bit later from a different industry, everybody is so passionate about the industry and the companies and the impact of the industry as well. It touches so many different people. There are so many small parts. There are so many big parts. And how it all fits together is just, I always find it so fascinating.
Yep, I agree. And it's always fascinating to visit the plant, to go to the place where they assemble, for example, the wings to the cabin, when they install the cabin, when they prepare the aircraft for the customers and they verify that everything is just perfect. When they do, I was lucky enough to be allowed to enter the big belugas, who are the one that are moving big parts like the wings from the UK to France and Germany. I had the opportunity to go to the port in Hamburg and to see the ferries and coming with the big parts from Saint-Nazaire. I had the opportunity to enter a flight test. So the aircraft, the very first that we do and where we do all the tests before the entry into service. It's really, really strange because it's not an aircraft. In fact, it's a data center. There is computers everywhere. There is sensors everywhere. People are looking at all the numbers when they do a flight. So really fascinating and very refreshing when you adopt a little bit about what you do. You just go there and the passion is back immediately. So and you know what you are doing because. And that's what is the beauty in when you work in digital is that you really have the opportunity to touch each and every function in the company and you see how the blue collars, for example, in the shop floor are using the solutions that your teams have developed on the tablet. You see the big screens where there is all the flows of ports. You can see all of that and how people are using your work on a daily basis. But you can also see that when you go to the design office. They will show you the digital twin, and you can go to the training center where we are training the pilots and the mechanics, and you can touch all the product digital that you have created to simulate all these activities. So it's real opportunity and real privilege to be in that function because you are really transverse and you touch everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, just as an aside, the Beluga is my favorite plane. I don't know if you can see, but I have a tiny model in the background there.
Yeah, I see it.
And I've been to Toulouse, I've been to Airbus at Toulouse and saw the Beluga doing some of the test flights, and it was sensational. Really enjoyed it. So tell me about your current role at Airbus and how that sort of shapes so many different parts of the company.
Today I'm the executive vice president for digital. So I'm in charge of a team of roughly 3,500 people around the world. 2,000 of them are located in Europe. So mainly France, Germany, UK, and Spain. A little bit in Portugal now since a couple of years. I also have a big team in India with 1,000 people there. I have also teams in North America, so US and Canada, in Singapore for covering Southeast Asia, in China. And basically, we deliver all the digital solutions that are used by all the functions. And as mentioned, we do HR solution for the recruitment, for example, or for today was we were doing the performance review, and calculating the bonus for the team. So and it's a tool that we have done that is doing that. We have finance, of course. We have production, a lot of things that are supporting the team in the shop floor to do the assembly work. We are working for procurement to buy all the parts. As you know, an aircraft, it's a combination of millions of parts that are coming from everywhere in the world. So our teams doing the procurement have a very, very big role to make sure that all the parts will be in Toulouse or in Hamburg or will be ready for the assembly of the aircraft. Then we have the design office that is now working on the current product to answer, for example, technical questions that are coming from our customers, or to continue to improve the current fleet, so the A350. They are also developing new products. So one is the 350 Fighter, and they are also working on the next generation of aircraft. As you know, we are at the forefront of the decarbonation of our industry, and part of it is to improve our current fleet, but also to develop the next generation of aircraft with a combination of hydrogen, electric, working also on making sure that all our aircraft can fly 100% sustainable aviation fuel in the near future, so we can really decarbonize the entire aviation. We have taken very strong commitment towards the SBTI, so the science-based initiative. So we want to reduce by 46% our own emissions. So and we want to reduce also the emission for our aircraft by more than 60%. So that's really the things that we want to do, and the design office is really working hard to make that happen. And with our tools, we are trying to help them to do that. Especially what is very different in the current generation of applications that we are developing is that we are improving and increasing a lot the simulation. So before, you were designing the aircraft and then you had to do small models to see, okay, how it will really react, and then bigger model and even bigger models. But at the end of the day, you needed to have a true aircraft built to make sure that your design was perfect. Now with digital, you can simulate everything. And basically, you can go faster, you can eliminate faster some of your assumptions if they are not working. You can really accelerate the speed of the creation of the new aircraft, and also do it with less raw materials consumption, with also a lesser impact on the planet. So that's really what we try to do. Then we do work, of course, for the production. So one of the cool stuff that we have done recently was we were taking a 3D picture and model of all the wings that are prepared in the UK. And before they arrive in Toulouse, because we have the model, we can check if everything is okay with the cabin. If not, we can adjust the cabin before the wings are arriving. So making it much easier for the workers to do their job, to avoid loss of time, so help also to deliver the aircraft faster to the customers with a higher level of quality. So that's the type of thing we do. A lot of work for quality, a lot of work for sustainability. Maybe the one that is not using that much our tooling is strategy. So that's probably the one. But marketing is using a lot. So we did a great announcement, I think it was 9 months ago at the Paris Air Show. We were having a model with virtual reality where the customer can basically go through the cabin and decide that I don't like this color for the seat, so I change the color, and do all the configuration of the cabin virtually. So you don't even need anymore to get the seat, to get everything, because you can modelize that in virtual. The customer can check, can make adjustment, decide how he wants the kitchens to look like, how he wants the toilets to look like, where he wants to position, and how many seats he wants to position, and he can really test it virtually. And then we go to the model, so you can see that physically, but we also accelerate very much the speed of the creation of the cabin, because each and every aircraft almost is different. So there is not one, and you see that when you take a plane. If you fly Ryanair or Air France or Lufthansa or Iberia or British Airways, the cabin looks different, and that's what the teams are doing. So but it's a lot of fun for the teams to work on these kind of topics. So we try to use all the technologies that are emerge to see, okay, how can we apply them to our industry? How we can take benefits of it for our employees, for our customers, for our suppliers. And at the moment, the big thing is on AI, of course. And we are doing a couple of things that are fun too. So still in the making. So, but yeah.
So you mentioned AI. For me, that is not something, I can't see the application of that in aerospace and aviation. But what is AI? What does AI mean for Airbus?
So the first thing is basically we are doing AI since more than 20 years in Airbus, and there is already a lot of applications that we are using, in particular to support the pilots in the cabin. So to help them make the decision, to collect information they need based on the sensors, because when you look at an aircraft, there is sensors all over the place. And so we provide a first level of analysis for the pilot to help them make the good decision. Today we can, you know that there is an autopilot in an aircraft. So an autopilot basically is artificial intelligence. So we have teach the aircraft how to fly autonomously. We have started also to work on automatic takeoff, automatic landing, to be able to manage emergency situations and that kind of stuff. So there is a lot of application of AI for the aircraft itself. We also use AI to help our customers, to the airlines, to optimize the usage of their fleet. So all of them have many aircraft, and we can, based on the number of passengers, based on the weather conditions, based on where they have to go, how much cargo they have, we will recommend this aircraft or this aircraft for a specific route. And that's basically behind what is running is AI. We are using AI we have a big center in Toulouse that is working 24/7 to assist the airlines when they have an issue with an aircraft. And basically AI is used to identify when the customer is calling and describes a problem. We use AI to find solutions, and especially to identify similar situations that have been faced by other customers in the past, so we can bring quickly a solution to the customer. So another application that we are currently working on is when you assemble an aircraft, there are thousands of operations that need to be done. And sometimes for the blue collar, it's not 100% clear what he exactly has to do. So before, what he was doing, he was going to a more experienced colleague to say, okay, I have this to do. Do I understand correctly the instructions and so on? Now what we have done is a small assistant where basically the blue collar can ask his question, and the artificial intelligence will go to the instructions and find for him the answers that he is looking for. So it avoids to spend a lot of time going through the instructions on the tablet. So he can get directly and be more efficient and also improve the quality of what you do, because there is probably more mistakes and he will do it right the first time. So there are plenty of applications. So we started last year, just to give you an idea. So in January last year, we started to work with all the functions, so HR, legal, finance, commercial, marketing, everybody. And we say, okay, we explained a little bit what AI was able to do. We give them some examples, and we say, okay, can you come with use cases? So what you would like to try in your department? And basically, they came with 500 ideas in less than 9 months.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And so today we are really piloting that. So we have selected some of these use cases where we think there is full value behind it. So for procurement, for example, we have developed a tool that is helping them to negotiate with the suppliers the best price for raw materials. For the people managing inventories, we have developed another tool that is optimizing the level of inventories based on how many aircraft we have to produce, how many aircraft are currently flying, looking at the history of the port's consumption over the past 15 years. And we draw and we say, okay, that's the number of parts you need to have inventory to have 99.99% chance to answer to the request from the customer or to the request from the final assembly line. So it's absolutely everywhere. In IT, I'm using it for, of course, for code, but that's just more for fun. The developers, so the first version of what we develop is now generated by AI, but there is still a lot of work to be done. So usually we keep 30% of what has been generated in the final code. But more interesting, we are using it for identifying vulnerabilities in cybersecurity much faster than what we were able to do before. So before it was taking days, and in some cases even weeks. Now, in a couple of hours, we know if a specific vulnerability that has been published by Microsoft or another software provider, we have it on our infrastructure or not. So allow us to patch it much more quicker and to really significantly increase the level of resilience of the company. So yeah, it's everywhere, and for all the functions, including for the products. And it's fun. Honestly, it's fun.
It is fun. It is fun. The AI that I've used, slightly different application, but it is fun. It's fun to play around, even if it doesn't always end up in the final product. It's an easy way to test things, as you say, without high levels of risk or a long time. And have you found that the Airbus employees have really embraced AI? Because I know in a lot of industries, AI has really been seen as a bit more of a replacement for employees, but it sounds like you're using it to enhance your employees' skills rather than looking to replace them further down the line.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of what we have done is basically, and there was some strategy work done with the team working on that topic, and it's a multifunctional team. So we have people coming from the design office, people coming from my team, people coming from operations. So we really have representatives from all the functions. And the guys were, we asked them, okay, what do we want to do? What do you think Airbus should do with AI? And basically, there was 2 or 3 things that were really important, and they came out. Was one, we want to do responsible AI, and this has three different dimensions. One is the human part of it, so we want to augment the employees, the customers, etc. We are not looking for replacement. We were looking about compliance, so we want to make sure that we don't do anything wrong. I remember a few years ago, Facebook to be on the top front page of the newspaper because their AI solution for recruitment was biased. So I don't want Airbus to be on the front page for that type of reason. So we want to make sure that from an ethic perspective, it works. And we want that it is also responsible from a sustainability perspective, because we know that the large language model are very consuming in terms of energy. And so we want to make sure that the way we use it is also responsible from a sustainability perspective, and then from a financial perspective, because we also want to make sure that we get benefits from the investments that we do. And to make sure that we reach all these objectives, basically what we said is, yes, we want AI to be at the service of the Airbus employees, customers, and suppliers. And we only in augmented, and that's one of the terminologies that Gartner, for example, is using. Their expert is not talking about artificial intelligence, he is talking about augmented intelligence. So, because it's not artificial, it's really based on the knowledge that the human have. Basically, what we do is each and every idea that where we think we could apply one of the other AI solutions that is available, we go through a trustworthy committee that is evaluating the idea and the impact of the idea from a financial perspective, from a sustainability perspective, from an ethic perspective, and from a human impact perspective, to make sure that, okay, it's never 100% bulletproof, but at least we ask us all these questions, and if there is a risk, we find mitigation to the risk. Because I think that we were talking about solutions for recruitment. We are biased. When I'm doing recruitment, I am biased. There is a human touch in recruitment that you cannot reproduce in an algorithm. So the bias is there when the human are doing the work. So we need to make sure that for the various topics, we have a supervisory committee that is looking at what we do, that is making sure that if it is breaching laws, for example, it's no way, so no go. We will not breach compliance because of that. If we think that there will be an impact on employment, we mitigate that to make sure that we understand exactly, but at least we try to do it responsibly and to ask the right question from day one. Not to have, create a disaster and then to be able to be in a position where you have to solve the disaster. So we really try to anticipate that from day one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is really very much helping the employee to be on board.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Because when you tell them that story, that we want to do it right, and that we want to augment the employee, not replace the employees, it makes a big difference. But we are still at the beginning of the journey, because as I've said, we started with AI in the design office 20 years ago, but for the rest of the company, it's more recent. It's more last two years where we have really seen some use cases coming. We created the AI team, I think was for digital, I think it was created 5 years ago. But at the beginning was really much learning about what it was and making a lot of test experimentation to see how we could use it. And it has really started to enter the business 2 years ago now.
Yeah, the boom of AI in the last couple of years, just in the accessibility from a regular consumer point of view,
Yep.
is, fascinating. And is it, what is the next digital frontier for Airbus? What is the next challenge that you and your team are anticipating coming down the line for us?
I think that one of the things is everything that has to do with quantum, because this will really change the paradigm for high power computing, and it will allow to do a lot of things that we cannot just resolve at the moment with the computers we have at hand. So we think that this will bring to the next level all the capabilities around simulation, all the capabilities around encryption. And like any digital innovation, there will be the good side of it and the dark side of it. So what is really interesting and fascinating in digital is that you can be on the good guy side, but you can also, that there will be some guys that will be on the dark side. So AI is used by the hackers today to make more damage to companies and to individuals, to steal more money, to damage more things. But as I've said, we also use AI to defend and to identify faster and quicker the vulnerabilities and everything. So it's used both ways, and quantum will be the same because it will be an opportunity for the hackers to crack the password, to crack the encryption keys much faster. But it will be also an opportunity for us to create new encryption tools that will bring us to the next level. So I think quantum is really something that I'm looking at very much. So I think artificial intelligence, we are just at the beginning. We will see much more of that in the coming years with even more powerful. And we see already that the AI solutions that have been developed are becoming better and better every day. So we have much more things. Then autonomous. Autonomous vehicles, be it cars, be it planes, trains. Again, it's not new. When I was working in Rio Tinto, we were having already autonomous trains at that time for 3,000 kilometers, so it was not a problem at all. Probably easier when you have rails than when it's a car or when it's a plane, but it was already working. So, and I think the autonomy can really bring more safety, and that's really the way we see it at Airbus, is really how we can use artificial intelligence to even increase the level of safety of the flights. So it has tremendously improved over the past decades, and today we have really reached levels that are really, really high. But yeah, every time that there is an accident, it's dramatic. So we want to even reduce even more that very little that is remaining to try to reach the zero accident in the future. And we think that digital can help on that. Again, not to replace the pilots, but really to help the pilots in special conditions to get a kind of summary and condensé of all the knowledge of all the pilots on the planet in one tool, where basically you can tap in when you need it. So that's more what we try to do. But yeah, quantum AI, I think will be the next. Then cyber will continue to evolve, and that's something we need to be very attentive to, because it's really evolving fast. It's increasing fast. It's mainly linked also to the geopolitical tensions that we see. So we really need to make sure that we are vigilant and we can really have a look at what's going on outside and try to anticipate and be prepared as much as we can for any type of threat. But the guys are creative, so they are inventing new things every day. So I'm giving regularly a briefing to the other members of the executive committee or even to the board of directors of Airbus, and I'm really focusing on what's new. And sometimes the guys are just looking at me saying, okay, how do they came to that? So that's really fascinating. But it's something that we really need to keep an eye on to make sure that we keep the companies, the employees, the customers, the passengers safe. So in the future. So
yeah, as you say, it's, new technology gets used by both sides, and it's just trying to stay one step ahead each time. So you've been at Airbus for just over 10 years now. What do you hope to see in the next 10 years from Airbus and maybe the industry as a whole?
So I'm really engaged and committed to the purpose of Airbus, which is to pioneer sustainable aerospace for a safe and united world. And what I am expecting in the next, not next 10 years, because I think we are targeting more 2035, so it's more 11 years from now. What I'm expecting is in 2035 to see the entry into service of the next generation of aircraft I was talking about. The hydrogen aircraft that will significantly reduce the impact on environment and on the planet, and that will really make sure that we are reaching the objectives that we have given to ourselves. So that's really my dream. Is I would be happy to retire in 2035 when I will see that, and that we will have reached that objective, and that we will have secured the aviation industry for the long term, because we will not have any more damaging impact on the planet. So that's really, and I think that basically that's what all the employees of Airbus are aiming to today. That's really what motivates them when they come to work on a daily basis, to really part of that transformation, that big change and revolution of our industry. And what I'm saying when I'm recruiting the new ones, so the ones that will be there after 2035, what I told them is today the entire ecosystem, aviation ecosystem, is approximately 2% of the CO2 emission worldwide. As Airbus, as we have roughly 50% of the fleet with Boeing, you can consider that, okay, we are in charge of 1%. So we have, by working for Airbus and inventing the next generation of aircraft, you have the ability to influence 1% of the CO2 emission of the planet. There is not a lot of company where you can go and say, okay, by my work, I will have this influence on the planet. So for me, for the young generation, I really encourage them to join us, to help us to reach that objective, because I'm truly convinced that is the right thing to do, and that we need aviation. It's a way to connect people, to connect families, to connect countries. And we need aviation for that. We cannot forbid the next generation to also rise the world as we have done in the past. So I was lucky to be in Australia, to be in Brazil, to be in Canada, in the US, in plenty of countries. I want the next generation to be also, so my grandkids, to be also able to do that. And to do that, we need to be successful in that sustainability journey. So that's my dream. And that's what makes me wake up in the morning with a big smile and still having a big smile at the end of the day when I'm coming back.
Excellent. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's been a pleasure.
It has been also a pleasure for me. Thank you for inviting me.
First Flight is a production of FlightGlobal and is hosted and executive produced by Amber Elias. Audio production by storysolutions.net. If you have any questions, comments or suggestions, or for commercial opportunities, please email podcast@flightglobal.com and more information can be found in the show notes. Listen, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.